Hello, and welcome to another edition of VR Vertigo. So, it's in the news, it's everywhere. Highguard. Promised so much, delivered so little. But did it, really? There's no doubt that it hasn't landed as the developers had hoped, and it's suffering now. But I watched a bit of gameplay from a few streamers, and it looked okay. But I'm just not very interested in this kind of game. So I gave it scant attention, but I did follow what the game was doing and how it was being reacted to. And the gaming world seems to have reacted with a great big fat meh. And trust me, it doesn't matter what you're doing. Building games, manufacturing cars, or having sex. The last thing you want to hear is meh. But here we are. And Highguard appears at least to be in the first stages of rigor mortis. But it's not alone, unfortunately. There are plenty of other cadavers in brightly coloured body bags lining up along with Highguard. The day before, Marvel's Avengers, one of my personal favourites, Anthem, Skull and Bones, Lord of the Rings Gollum, Radical Heights, Concord, Babylon's Fall, Payday 3, Star Wars Outlaws, maybe, and a whole host of other one-hit wonders. They all have something in common, and it's not just the live service fallacy. It's a host of other things. Broken promises, technical issues, misleading trailers, and let's just be honest about it, just downright lying. But this is the gaming world we live in. Such are the bounties to be had from a successful game, all kinds of sharp practice and sleight of hand is indulged in an effort to gain a foothold. And although Highguard seemed to suffer from a disastrous development cycle, it at least appeared on the face of it to have a pretty honest development. The team was indeed trying to provide us with a game worth playing. Now, I've talked on this channel about what happens to games when they reach this stage, when they're released all bright and shiny and new, and they fall flat on their face. What do the development team do? Well, there are a few choices, of course. Depending on how Highguard performs from this point on, they can just let it roll on, listening to criticism and constructive input, changing things, and in the same vein as No Man's Sky, see where we end up. Or, if it crashes and burns, just pull the game. Or, pull the game, issue a statement saying they have plans, and re-release it. For VR. Change whatever you have to change, take into account all the negative feedback, and re-release the game for VR. Because let's just say it is dead. Let's just say there's no hope for it. What, at this stage, do you have to lose? I'll mention a game that was on my list. Payday 3. As I remember, it had some bugs, but eventually died because of server issues. There was no infrastructure, it seemed. It was all a bit odd. But now, does that game just die? Does it languish in some strange gaming purgatory? Or is there a new life for it? Can it be resurrected in VR? So why on earth wouldn't the developers do the obvious thing and bring the game over so that a VR audience can revive the game? Or Payday 2. The mechanics were a bit clunky, but hey, if you're developing for VR, just sort all that stuff out. We've already talked about Anthem and Star Wars Outlaws being what a great VR game that would be. But I think it's having a little bit of a resurgence now, is it? People are still playing it. So I don't think there's necessarily the developer appetite to develop that game for VR. Unfortunately, once again, we're faced with a game which has been birthed in a not fit state to live. So whereas it's not quite stillborn, it's very nearly there. And once again, we see developers who are effectively neutered by the experience. I hate to see years of good work go to waste. If we have a game like Bungie's Marathon, which, let's face it, got a massive ball kicking, get a second chance. They nursed their balls and are coming back with a bang, it seems. And I'm all for it. The only thing that would make Marathon more perfect is to have it in VR. Gaming needs to pull its finger out of its ass where VR is concerned. Department heads at developer studios should have an eye on this. They should, from the start of development, be considering VR as an option. Why they wouldn't insulate the game from irrelevancy in the future is beyond me. A friend of mine once said a few years ago, a game has a finite lifespan. It lives and it dies. And okay, fair enough. But what if I gave you a shot at reincarnation? To live another life? Aren't 2 lives better than 1? Do let me know what you think in the comments below. Do like, subscribe and share if you'd like. It really would help the channel. And until next time, bye bye.